Alright, so finally, after I don't know how many weeks it's been since the last ban list, but Konami finally decided that now, of all times, to do the skill rebalancing. So, obviously, after the last ban list, most people were pretty unhappy because they were supposed to nerf Tachyon and Shiranui, and all they did was, I mean, they sort of nerfed Tachyon, sort of, and obviously nothing really changed. I think the deck list went from being a tier 0 deck to being just a tier 0 still sort of a format, or at least it feels that way, since all you're playing against is the same two deck lists and nothing else. There is nothing else being played currently. In tournament play, at the top level, all you're seeing is Tachyon, followed by Shiranui. Nothing in tier 2. Tier 3 is barely clinging on. If you saw the results of the last KC Cup, they were absolutely just horrendous. It was like 90 deck lists of Tachyon and Shira, and then maybe 10 decks of just variety stuff, which is just an awful top 100. So hopefully this skill rebalancing is going to be targeting specifically Shiranui and Tachyon. Outside of that, I don't think anything else needs to be touched, so let's check it out. Alright, so what do we got? We're getting Lswarm changes, Tachyon changes, and Shiranui changes. Thank God. So I'm not sure what to expect from these, because the Shira change, I don't really know what they would, how they would change it in particular, considering I feel like the Shiranui deck list as a whole is only really strong, but it's only really strong because Tachyon's really strong. It's the only deck that sort of pairs well into Tachyon, whereas everything else doesn't. I think if Tachyon sort of disappeared, the Shiranui deck list would be more, balanced, or at least it would feel like more decks could still be played. I think Shiranui would still probably be the best deck in the format, but I think other decks would still be played. I think Tachyon's the real deck that's stopping everything else being playable, so that's the one I'm looking at being hit. I don't know what they would do, the Shira skill. I'm pretty sure for Tachyon, they just need to make the skill once per turn, and that would be... once per duel, and that would be enough, so... Yeah, and the Lswarm skill is kind of funny, considering we just got the Lswarm card unlimited because nobody was playing that deck, so... It'd be nice to have some changes to this one. Not sure what they could do to it either. It'd have to be some pretty drastic changes to make Lswarm playable, so... Yeah, let's check it out. Alright. First of all, updated skill first. Lswarm Union. Alright. Oh, is that it? Okay, so all they've changed is they've made it so that... They've just changed the restriction. You have 10 or more Lswarm monsters in your deck, so they've just removed the restriction. Does that even, matter at all? So I guess now... I mean, this isn't going to help Lswarm at all, right? Because I don't think anyone was really... I don't think anyone read this skill and thought, damn, I'm forced to play in my Lswarm monsters in my Lswarm deck. What a shame. I guess the good thing about this skill is I guess you could, use it as some sort of package in another deck, considering I don't think there's any other restrictions anywhere. Oh, wait, no, there is still the major restriction on it. Okay, so it just lets you play more tech cards. Yeah, that's going to do literally nothing. Tech cards is not what that deck list was missing. That deck list was missing actual, coherent strategy. That was the issue with it, so... Yeah, that's going to do nothing. Let's go on to the more interesting changes. Tachyon. Alright, so... Oh my god. Oh dear god, that is a lot of text. That is... Holy shit, that is a wall of text. Right, so what have they changed? So I think what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to briefly check DLM to see what the actual changes are, because otherwise, holy shit, that is... Trying to decipher that myself is going to be a problem. Alright, so I got the skill changes up earlier. So, the Tachyon one. So, what do they do to Tachyon? Tachyon Dragon Domination. Received multiple changes. Firstly, you cannot normal or special summon monsters with a level outside of 4-8 light dragons with 2,000 more attack, or level 8 dark dragons with 2,500 or 2,000 attack. Oh, so that just turns off Ice Dragon's Prison. So the first part doesn't really change much outside of just removing this from the deck list, which I thought... Did the deck get any limit 3s? I can't even remember. That last ban list was so useless, I don't even remember if the deck list was currently playing limit 3s or not. I actually can't remember if they limited Psych to 3. I would hope they did. You gonna load or what, bro? Any loadings? Alright, anyway. Second year skill no longer sets a level 8 Dark Dragon type, level 8 monster for free after searching the Light Dragon. Okay, that's huge. So it doesn't give you a free, just a free set of a monster. Okay, that's huge. Okay, so it removes Ice Dragon Prison, which means not much. It stops you being able to set a dragon to the field, which is also pretty crazy. That's just -1 dragon they were summoning. I was just checking if they're still playing them at 3s or not. Now, this guy wasn't, but other people were. I mean, barely anyone was playing. I guess they're playing singular copies of Limit 3s. Okay, this first part means literally nothing. Like, actually nothing. This second part, though, sure, seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Alright, thirdly, the second part of the skill requires number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon specifically. Huge. Because a lot of people currently, when they're making this deck list, especially during the KC Cup, is they're setting up the Galaxy Eyes monsters on the field, and then they'll just leaving them as their end field, which feels kind of gross for a Tachyon deck list to just not be summoning Tachyon, so forcing you to actually have Tachyon on the field rather than searching for the other or some of the other Galaxy Eyes cards is nice. So that's good. And finally, it must return a Dragon type to the hand now to set Tachyon Transmigration to your field, but it cannot be activated the same turn. Set the card. Okay, that's pretty huge. So now you can actually have counterplay to it. Playing MST and Cosmic actually can remove the Tachyon counter trap now. You don't have to worry about it as much. Especially with the Limit 3s already basically removed from the deck list, they're going to have a lot less proper back row. So if you have MST in hand, you're going to have a lot better chance of actually dealing with this deck list now. Okay, that is huge. That is -1 summon, forcing you to set so you have counterplay now, and just removing the Limit 3s. Is that all? I mean, that's all that's written on here, so I think that's it for that one. And the final one is the Shiranui change, which I think I can read in game. I think that's all the changes for it. I don't think DLN missed any of them. Do they really not make it once per duel though? That's one thing I thought they would do to it. Do they not make it once per duel? This effect can be used once per duel. Reveal 1 level 8, blah blah. Twice per duel. Isn't the search once per duel now as well? Is that what isn't it? Or am I missing something here? You can duel with these settings once per turn and twice each during the duel. Isn't the search only once per duel now as well? Maybe I'm missing something here. I'm pretty sure that the second part's still multiple times per duel, right? Once per turn if the blah blah. Yes, the second part's still once per turn, but the first part now is once per duel, though, right? This effect can be used once per duel. Once per turn and twice per duel. I'm getting very hung up on this. I'm pretty sure it went from begin the duel settings, allows you to use each effect once per turn, twice per duel. And I'm pretty sure this one now says just... This part isn't even highlighted as changed though, but isn't this changed? I don't know, I'm moving on. There might be another change there where it's only once per duel as well that I'm missing. If that's the case, that's also huge. This skill has actually been gutted, by the way. That is disgusting. Potential once per duel hit, the Ice Dragon's Prison's removed, forcing you to play Tachyon on field, and doesn't set a card, or doesn't place a card in the field for you, and you can MST their back row, so fantastic changes all around. Alright, let's check out the final one. Shiranui style successor, alright. At the beginning of the duel, if your deck contains at least 10 oh yes, well, it's the same. Shiranui monster, so what's that about? Send 1 level 4 monster from your hand or the graveyard, then add 1 Shiranui monster from your deck to your hand. Oh my god, you can't search the trap card. Wait, is that what the changes? You can't search the trap card? Oh, that is crazy. Oh, that's crazy. You can't search the trap card now. That is a brilliant change. Rather than banning the really irritating trap card, just making it not searchable is huge. If you still want to play the trap card, you can. It's just you can't search for it with the skill anymore. A gigantic change, and very healthy change, because that was just... Both the two trap cards you could search for, the one that you discard to make your monster immune, and the one to search for to just make your stuff just make it so you can't take damage that turn, also disgusting. Any sort of effect in this game that stops you taking damage for a turn probably needs to be limited at some point. It's just how this game has worked. Kiteroid, your Veils, your... Just so many of them. The Divine, whatever it's called, the thing that you discard a card so you don't take damage for the rest of the turn, that stupid trap card. All these examples, Sphere Karibo, like all these examples in the past have been cards that either had to be limited or just, thankfully Sphere Karibo just kind of got power crept, but yeah, all these kind of things are really powerful effects in Duel Links, so good to see that. That's a huge change, actually. I wonder if the trap card will even still be run now, if people just play more copies of the trap card, maybe. But that's huge. The Tachyon change is definitely the biggest one. That is a ridiculous amount of changes, and it's kind of hard to quantify how big of a change it is until you actually see it in action, considering how much has actually changed about the skill. I'm pretty certain, reading the skill, that this deck list has to be worse than Shiranui by quite a lot now. There is no way it's not. So, if I was going to do like a brief sort of guess of what the tier list would look like after this, it'd probably be Shiranui tier 1. Tier 2, I doubt Tachyon would even be in there. It sounds like, this seems like an actual, like, either like a tier 3 sort of deck list now, or bumping off the tier list entirely. That is an insane change, so... Those are my first thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, glad they finally went ahead with the ban list. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you agree with this ban list? Disagree with it? Did I miss something here somewhere? Because I'm pretty sure the Tachyon skill is also the search effect. Might actually just be once per turn now as well, or once per duel now as well. But maybe I'm missing something here. It's actually a lot of Takeout's also gonna trashy beam deck yats, and I'm looking at that. I think the deck list is that the art type is definitely gonna fall off hard. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. It's definitely gonna be worse than Shiranui now, that's for sure. So Shira's gonna be the best deck. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Laters.